6th Congressional District, Mr. David Trone.
Okay, the most important thing is how's the food? How's the wine and the beer? Okay, that's what counts. We know that for the wine business for sure. Hey, first I want to recognize we have a couple elected officials here. They can just stand up quickly. Charlie Barkley, District 39, running for County Council. Also, we have Pete Fosselman here from Kensington, also running for County Council. Where's Pete? These are two fantastic legislators, so we appreciate them coming out. It's our lucky day. And Jim Sweet, we want to thank you. Great job here at Smokey Glen. Where's Jim? Right there. Okay. So we just got back from a 3-day swing, and we started on Friday up in Garrett County. Who's been to Garrett County? Woo! That is one beautiful area. Up there, we had a great time. We met a lot of folks. Went to the Garrett County Fair. Did a lot of listening. Then we went down to Allegheny County. Covered the Allegheny County Fair, the Sportsman's Bash. Met a lot of folks in the fire company, the volunteer fire company. Really worked out well. Then we went over to Hagerstown. It's always one person loves Hagerstown. How about Smithboro? Anybody like Smithboro? Okay, we were at all of those. So, Bob, needless to say, we had lots of spots we attended, lots of hands we shook. It's been a busy, busy 3 days. We want to come down today and finish it up, wrap it up, and as a thank you. Thank you guys. You guys have been folks that we've known over the years, that June and I have known. You guys have been great supporters, and we really, really appreciate that. It just means everything to us. June, sorry she couldn't be here tonight. We had booked a plane a year ago for a cruise with her and her mother, who's 89 years old. And I told them, I said, you know what, it's going to be an 11-month campaign. Last was a 12-week campaign. In 11 months, you go with your mom. But anyway, it's been a busy 3 days. Some of you guys know me much better than others. But I want to tell you a little bit about myself and our family and how we kind of got started and why we think that we can make a difference in Washington, which is a tall order, a tough order. We all know that. Everyone's disappointed. Everyone's unhappy with what really happens in D.C. But our background is different than what you see in the typical insider politician. My background is really formed where we grew up. And we grew up, as most of you guys know, on a farm in East Berlin, Pennsylvania. And on that farm, we learned a couple of things. The most important thing was hard work. And that's an easy thing to say, but what we did on that farm, whether it was shoveling chicken manure, literally 13 tons of manure every day. And that'll be good practice in Washington. Think about it a minute. Yeah. And we also did a lot of time feeding hogs. That could be good practice in Washington too. But the bottom line is, it was a lot of work. We ran our egg plants 7 days a week, 13 shifts a week. When you do that, you learn to work a lot at $1.80 an hour. So now when you hit a bump in the road, when you hit a difficult moment, it doesn't bother you. You're like a duck. It goes off your back and you look for solutions. You look for answers. You talk to people on the left. You talk to people on the right. We come up with a bias for action. Because if we don't act, we don't all get off the sidelines, we can't move forward as a country. We need to cut back on, I'm just a Democrat or I'm just a Republican. We need to pull together as Americans. And that's something I think we get from the outside. The other piece we learned on that farm was about new ideas and about change. Change and new ideas are the lifeblood of who we are in America. And that's the beauty of our diversity. Our office is the United Nations. That diversity that we have and the inclusivity that we have with it, that's what lets us and our company, Total Wine and More, come up with ideas, come up with different ways to approach a problem. And that's what's made America the greatest country in the world by far. But we need to continue to promote and drive that. But on that farm, we learned a comfort level with taking risk, taking chances. Sometimes it doesn't work out. Bad things happen to good people. So on that farm, we learned what failure was. Unfortunately, as most of you, or many of you know, the farm did fail. We went bankrupt. And a lot of factors involved. Probably, principally, my father drank a little too much. And it was a real problem. But the farm failed, and the banks took the farm, they took our house, they took our home. But through that adversity, through that learning what's a really bad day, it's not like other bad days we might have. Learning what a bad day is, we learned some toughness, some mental toughness, and some drive, some initiative that's relentless, that we can never quit and never will until we achieve what we have to achieve. I think that's something that we could bring to Congress. And it's certainly something that helped us in our business. So many of you folks know Total Wine, whether you're buying products in Laurel or Florida or Seattle or McLean, Virginia. We were able to take that business when we went to grad school and start anew. So we attended the University of Pennsylvania. We had nothing at the time. The parents divorced, supported my mom, worked with the other kids, the younger kids, the oldest of 5. We started a business in the beer business. And you know that one beer store with one good idea, sell things cheap. We all like selling things cheap. And that idea has been improved. But it's been improved because of our team. It's improved because of our people. Our people who bring ideas through their diversity and the openness and the willingness to sometimes fail. The comfort level that if it doesn't work, we do a mid-course correction. We call an audible, but we never stop. But failure does happen, and we learn from it. That's a good thing. We encourage that in our company. We need risk takers. But that business has now grown to 6,000 folks across the country in 22 states. We're the largest retailer of alcohol privately owned in the country. But the beauty of it is it's not myself or Robert. We've been lucky, absolutely. We've been very lucky. But it's our people. And that's what a lot of businesses, I don't think government gets, is having the best people by investing in your people, investing in your team. When you invest in your team, you invest for the long term. You invest in their education. You invest in their training. Because you realize that no person, no group can ever do it alone. We are a village. And that's really important. So we're lucky, and as progressive Democrats, we understand in our stores we need good pay. We need full-time people that get benefits. And that's why at retail we turn it upside down. We support 75% of our folks in the stores are full-time. And that's the opposite of what retail in America is. Because when I was a store manager, I learned one thing real clear. If you got a great team around you, we take care of the customer. We take care of the customer. And if we're driven and intense, I am. Yeah. Very intense. But intense to win, intense to take care of the customer, and you do that through your people. You do that by a culture that leadership drives, that the people, the team, we need those full-time workers for that medical, for that retirement plan, for that disability, partner benefits. We put that in 10, 12 years ago. We need to work with everybody. We need to be inclusive. But at the same time, you reach a point in your career where you say, hey, I want to do something different. We can try and help make a bigger difference. Creating 6,000 jobs, that's wonderful. But making a bigger difference is a stage that we like to step onto now. To try and make big progress, big steps. And we were lucky and fortunate, John Delaney decided to run for president. And you know what? I think John will be an awesome, awesome president. My wife and I wrote the first check for John. We wrote the second check for John. John is an awesome congressman, a common sense guy that grew up with nothing and built a business, wants to work with everybody. And we think about who can win. You know, a lot of times you'll say, oh, how could the congressman for the 6th district win? Well, whoever thought what happened now would have happened? Can we believe it? So anyway, I put in a plug. When John stepped aside, John has been an awesome friend, an awesome confidant, an awesome source of advice. And so we're moving forward. But if we continue where we are with the Trump administration, they brought us an education secretary that doesn't believe in public education. I'm a source of public education. That's what America is. Yet we're moving the wrong direction. They brought us an environmental secretary and a president who doesn't even believe in global warming. Doesn't believe in global warming. Took us out of the Paris Accords. Is not supporting the Chesapeake Bay. We have a big, big challenge ahead of us. That is pretty scary. That is short-term bad thinking. It's the exact opposite of what we talked about earlier. Long-term thinking. Long-term thinking is thinking about what's good for your children and their children. How we invest in things like our environment. How we invest in education. Infrastructure, the president has done nothing but talk about it. The jobs from infrastructure, America's rated a D+. That's D for David, plus. I don't know, where I went to school, I didn't want to get that grade. That would have been a bad day. I never ventured there. And that's not something any of us is proud of. It's not who we are. NIH, 30% cut in the budget. Insanity. Opioids. We have a national emergency. The president's own task force on it said, this is a national emergency. We need to declare it. We need to attack it. They've done nothing but slice, cut, try and eliminate health care for 20-some million people. Doesn't matter whether they're white, black, or brown, rich or poor, opioids are affecting everybody. They affect everybody. Who here in this room has lost somebody or knows someone that's been lost to opioids? It's pretty amazing. And we saw that all over Western Maryland, which is kind of the epicenter. But fighting to protect these things we care about, fighting to protect and stop this onslaught on America and on what's good for our children, what's right for our next generation. That's really not enough. Robert Kennedy spoke about that life's purpose is to make things better. If we can all make things better before we depart and leave, that's kind of a good day. That's a good thing. We think about it every day. Because the biggest reason we're here is our kids. That's it. So what do we need to do? We believe that policy is way more important than politics. We're all about policy. We understand job creation We've created thousands of jobs around the country. We need to take the NIH budget and double it. We talked with Francis Collins and folks over there, and there's things like Alzheimer's. My dad died of Alzheimer's. Everyone knows what's happening with dementia and Alzheimer's around the country. We need to figure out how to drive resources, scarce resources, for things that are right for us long term, right for us as a country. But instead, we're moving the wrong way. Infrastructure. John Delaney has a wonderful infrastructure plan. He's working with Republicans and Democrats. A plan that creates jobs. A plan that brings a lot of corporate profits back to the U.S. where they're taxed. And then they go into bonds to drive infrastructure. Yet, we can't get off first base because we have a president of the United States that was born on third base. And then he stole home. He literally stole home in the backs of his workers, the backs of small business, with 6 bankruptcies, and said, oh, I'm smart. Well, that's not the America which we signed up for. We didn't sign up for that. I know I didn't. So infrastructure, 270, 81, the purple line. We've done one major project, and that's the ICC. Virginia's done 7 in the same time frame. America needs infrastructure. Maryland needs less committees, less evaluating things. We've been evaluating 270 for 30 years. I think we're tired of evaluating it. We've all lived on 270. When we're on 270, what happens? We're just a parking lot. And when we're there, how much time are we spending with our children? How much time are we spending with our wife or husband? How much time are we spending with our friends? It's a quality of life issue that is a giant detriment to all of us here in Montgomery County, Frederick County, Washington County. So we need to spend those monies. We need to figure out how to make it happen. Education. Pre-K. Everybody has to have pre-K. It's not acceptable not to. We used to have the best education system in the world. That's not happening. Maryland had some of the best education. That is slipping every year. We can't live on our past. We can't live on our accolades. We need to address it. And we need to have free community college. We need to have free vocational school to create great jobs. We need great jobs for folks that want to be a plumber, electrician, a mechanic. Awesome jobs. But if Tennessee can do that, why can't Maryland? Other states are making these promises and keeping them. But in Maryland, we're not. We have to address education. And of course, opioids. We talked about a minute ago. I lost my nephew New Year's Eve to opioids. 25. Fentanyl laced with heroin. It's an unbelievable burden. We need everyone to say, this is a national emergency, and we've got to stand up, get off the sidelines, make it count. We've all got to speak up. We've got to demand action, and we can never quit. We can never take mediocrity. We can never take no. Because there's a lot of things we can do. It's no single silver bullet. There is no. Complicated problems aren't simple. They're multi-layered. They take a lot of knowledge, a lot of specialists and educators to help us with them. But we can fix this. 60,000 people died last year in America, so the numbers are going to come in. Vietnam, we lost 53,000. All that talk about Vietnam, 1 year. 60,000 here. More than traffic accidents, more than guns, more than anything. And it's up in Maryland 37% in the first quarter. That ought to scare the hell out of us. We need to pull together. It's personal for me. It should be personal for a lot of us. So what do? We got to change leadership. We've got to have some new voices, some new perspectives, some people that aren't looking for a job, some people who are looking to make a difference. People are looking for common sense solutions. sense, government's common sense, and what's always having a North Star, what's right for the next generation, what's right for your kids. If we think about what's right for our kids, we're probably going to make the right decision. And those decisions are often hard. They're difficult. But they're ones we have to make. The easy decisions are never the right decision. They're never. So today I want to thank you guys. I want to thank you all for coming out. I want to thank you for joining our quest as an outsider, as a disruptor. And that's what I've always been, a disruptor. Changing games, throwing a few bombs, but saying, we're not accepting this status quo. It's not going to happen. And we need to work hard and together, and we can change it. So we need everyone in this room to help us, and we need thousands and thousands more. We need you to reach back, talk about change. It's not just optional. It has to happen. It's no longer optional. We need you to help us drive it together. We have a lot of our team here today. I want to thank our team because these guys had a great weekend. We have our office set up in Cabin John Shopping Center right now. We'll be opening offices in Frederick, Hagerstown, and Cumberland. We'll have the biggest canvas ground game of anybody. We're going to have more volunteers than anybody. So here today we have Rich, who you met earlier, is our campaign manager. Also Grace is here. Eric, Alex, Bill. Talk to my team. If you can help us afterwards. And this time, one thing we are going to do a little bit different is we are going to work this time. My wife and I said, whoa, we spent way too much money. But you know what? Didn't care that much because we wanted to do what was right. But this time, we're going to raise some money. And we're going to try and do it the Bernie Sanders way. What Bernie did, and then Barack did the same, was $25, $15 type donations by lots of people. Lots of folks that are saying, I've had enough. I've just had enough. And I'm going to take a flyer on someone that's just there for one reason, to make things better. That's it. And so we're going to do that. But we're not going to take any money from PACs. We're not going to take any money from lobbyists. We're not going to take any money from corporations. Because as we've said over and over again, I want to be your congressman, not theirs. And that's an important distinction. And, they all got their point of view, and that's nice. But we're happy to listen to everybody's point of view. It's really important. But we have to be the voters, the consumers, advocate. And that's just the way it has to be and always will be. So, biggest ask today is we're looking to do as many house parties as we can. We need to go living room.
I'll be the first one.
Excellent. Thank you. We need to go.
You got our vote.
We need to go living room by living room. We need to go neighborhood by neighborhood, county by county. And so anybody that can get a bunch of folks together, talk to our guys, go on davidtrone.com, our website, and say, hey, I want to help out. I'm fed up. I want to move on. I want some change. I want something that's different. Someone that just wants to do the right thing. And that's it. So we need that help. If you can help us with Facebook, like us on Facebook, keeps the guys happy at IT. They always want more money when the numbers go up. Follow us on Twitter. Thank you. And of course, go on davidtrone.com and look at the issues because, again, policy is more important than politics. So we're going to be rolling out over time, lots and lots of detailed points on issues. And we will not agree on everything ever, and no people ever should. But we think we owe it to everyone to put out where we stand on everything. And what it is what it is. But we're also wide open to hear other points of view and realize that sometimes better information comes in, you make a little different decision. You modify your course. But we're looking for input as lifelong learners forever. So that's important. It's not a time to be on the sidelines and go back again. Our purpose is always to make life better. If we just keep that in mind, how we can make life better for not us in this room, really, but for our kids. Because these problems are so naughty, they are generational. So I really, really need all of your help here. We need all of your assistance, and we really thank you. Thank you, June and I, the kids, we thank you so much for your assistance. And I'm going to stick around and I'm happy to answer some questions one-on-one, and happy to say hello to folks. If I didn't get everybody, I tried to walk by and say hello to everybody. And of course, there's lots of food and there's some wine and some beer, so continue to help yourself on that. And they're going to make me a plate to go, and we're good to go. So thank you very much.